Hi, and welcome to SharePoint Soup. Have you wanted to create a basic calendar instead of using the event itinerary list template? If so, stay tuned because we're going to go through a tutorial on how to create just that. Okay, so when you're at your new site, if you click New and List, it'll show you all the different templates available from Microsoft. Now, what you see might be different from here because there are different clouds. There's commercial, there's GCC, GCC High, and DoD. And there's different templates available on each one. And also it depends if you have your preview on, because if you have preview on, you might get some features before other people. As you can see, the event itinerary, that is the basic calendar template. There's also a content scheduler and travel requests that are kind of similar, but there's no plain calendar option. If you wanted to use a classic calendar, you can click on New App and click on Classic Experience, and then search or scroll down to find the calendar option. Now, this calendar option will be what you were used to in SharePoint Server, but the issue with that is it's not easy to add this web part to a page. And then when you go to it, it looks like the old SharePoint. It doesn't have the modern interface. So we can go over that on a different video on how to set that up with calendar overlays. But for now, let's go ahead and click New List. And we're going to choose Blank List. Now here, go ahead and name your calendar. You can name a calendar or whatever name you want. Enter a description if you like, and then click Create. All right, so it's going to take you to just a plain list. You could add column from here, but for me, I feel like you get more options if you go to the gear and click on List Settings. Through the list settings, you can create a column here, and you have the whole layout to be able to add it. So go ahead and click on Create Column. All right, so what you want to do is name the column. So we already have a title column by default. So here you're going to want to add description. And you should choose multiple lines of text. I'm going to say no for requiring it. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay, so we're going to create a column again, now that we have title and description. And the new column is going to be start date. And this one should be date and time. You should require this one because you're going to need to have a start date for every single entry. You'll need a start and end date. You can leave unique values at default, and then you want to choose date and time because most events or meetings or calendar entries that you use will have a start date and time. And I'll be using a friendly format. So once you choose those, go ahead and click OK. All right, now we have the start date. You're going to want to create column again, and this will be the end date. Type in the name and choose date and time again. And once again, you want to require this. It's needed for the view that we're going to create later. So same thing, date and time, and then choose a friendly date. And if you wanted to put, I skipped this earlier, but if you wanted to put a default, you could. I usually leave that blank. And then go ahead and click OK. All right, so now you have the title, the description, the start date, and the end date. You could add other columns if you'd like. If you want to categorize the meetings, you can add a category column. If you want additional information added to each event or calendar entry, you can add a new column. Otherwise, we're going to go forward and create a view. We could create it here, but I do think it's a lot easier creating it directly from the list itself. So if you go back to the list, you can just click Add View here at the top right. And once you click that, you'll get a pop-up. You can name the view. We're going to name it Calendar. And then choose the calendar view, show as calendar. Here you can choose month, week, or day. I usually like to use month. And then the start date, set that to start date, and the end date should be set at end date. Leave the public view option checked, and then if you want to change the title to something else, you can do it here. Otherwise, click Create. And there's your calendar. So I love how it's in the modern style. It's not a classic view. You want to go ahead and set this view as default. That way, if anybody lands on this list, it's going to be the calendar view. And there it is. So we're going to go ahead and test adding a new event just to see how it shows up. So go ahead and enter your title. You can enter your description. And then enter the start date. I'm just going to choose the 25th, 10 a.m. Oh, sorry, 24th, 10 a.m. And it'll be done at 11 a.m. All right, so you have your title, description, start date, end date. And then if you want to add an attachment like briefing slides or read-aheads, you can add them here and click Save. So there's your new calendar entry. Let me see. If we click on you can see here, February 20th, there are no events. But if you click on the day, February 24th, you'll see it's going to pop up there on the right side. So if you had it on day view, it would do the same thing for the day of. All right, we're going to go ahead and add a multi-day event just to see how that works. Again, this is a very basic calendar. If you wanted to customize it with other things, you could. Anything, that you find is important for your calendar, you can add that in. One thing I know is when you do this basic calendar, there is not an option to add an all-day check mark that the classic calendar has. Unfortunately, that's not here. So that is a limitation to this basic calendar. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put February 25th to February 27th. And click Save, and there's your multi-day meeting. See, it stretches across all 3 days. And if you click on it, you can see it on the right side. All right. Well, that was a quick rundown on how to create a basic calendar in SharePoint Online, as well as creating a calendar view for it. If you're interested in the classic calendar in SharePoint Online and how to embed it into a modern page, as well as creating categorized calendar overlays so that you have the different colors for each category, then stay tuned because I plan to make that as one of my next videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.